Welcome back to the Podcats podcast. I am your host, Alex Sprouse. This is co-host Sadie Hutsell with our guest, the lovely Steve Rissler.
Nice to be here.
He's so happy to be here. We're doing great. We're having a great time. So, when did you start here in Licking High School?
In May of 2012 is when I got the job. And then I moved to Houston and started our summer stuff. Yep, that was in 2012.
Now, that's been a long time. How many? 12 years? You've been here 12 years?
Yep, 12 full years. This is my 13th year. So I'm 70 or a quarter of the way through my 13th year at Licking and my 23rd year overall.
So you were pretty happy with your job to stick around so long.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success. Licking's a place where they value athletics and education. So, you know, it's hard to leave when you've got probably the best job you could get. If I leave, I'm going to get paid less to have a worse job. So, yeah, it just makes sense to stay.
I mean, growing up with my class, you know, I probably would have quit the first day.
No, it's not as bad as what you probably think it was.
I don't know. The things I see my class do just to each other, let alone the things around them, I don't think I could have the patience for that.
You never know. You know, that's what they trained us for in college. So
what did they do? They just walk up to you and just keep poking you with a stick until you said the safe word?
Kind of, yeah. You know, we have our classroom management classes, and then, I actually was going to get out of education after year 6 due to discipline issues I was having. I used to teach math, but I got a job doing elementary PE and coaching girls basketball in 2007, and that's how I ended up here, coaching girls basketball.
A year after I was born. So you were doing that, you've been doing that for 17 years.
Yeah, I think this is my 16th or 17th year as a head coach. Yep.
So could you go more in depth about how you were taught to discipline or how to handle students in college?
Sure. You know, it wasn't very realistic. It's more out of a book. It was a lot of reading, but I felt like I got the most out of actually going into classrooms. We went to a school on the north side of Springfield. I went to Missouri State. It was SMS at the time. And we went to Hillcrest High School, which is kind of, the north side. It's like a good mix of lower middle class with poverty and like an ag community. It's the only school in the Springfield area with FFA. So it's a mix of different types of students. And so we had to go in there, and that's where we cut our chops, trying to teach them. I remember once I had to teach a bunch of kids line dancing. I had to teach team handball. I did a basketball lesson. So dealing with kids, from that many different walks of life early in my career, I think helped out.
For my class, the class of 2025.
Yeah. Not bad at all. I wouldn't rate your class bad at all. Maybe out there, I think several of you kind of do your own thing. But as far as like disrespect, straight out disrespect, I didn't see it. Unless I'm forgetting about some people. But no, I don't sit back and think, man, that was a difficult class. But some classes I do.
I'm sure a lot of the elementary teachers would say that just because we were solely just such a big class.
Yeah.
But
it's probably different being in a classroom setting. I've been in the PE setting here for the majority of my time here, so it's a little different. A lot of times I just let you guys run, and get your energy out. So try to help out the other teachers by getting you a little exhausted.
That didn't help whenever we had gym the last hour of the day.
True. I forgot about that. That was the year with the snacks.
The snacks?
We had the
Oh,
snacks
yeah.
from Life 360.
Oh, that's
at
right,
church.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I would actually go up to that cart because no one would actually go
Mhm.
and
Had
take it.
those,
And I would
pull-aparts.
just take handfuls of it, and I would just put it in my bag, and I would distribute it.
Yeah.
But I made a mistake, and I took too much milk, and one burst, and I didn't know until I lifted up my geometry book, and the whole bottom, the smell never came out of it. The smell was so bad. It was, yeah, I never did it again. After
Yeah,
that,
that-
it was, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, that was I kind of like those snacks that gave kids opportunity to have food that maybe they wouldn't get at home or on the weekends. We did that. Did we do that every day? Yeah, it was daily.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
daily, not just Fridays. So it was every day. It was through the church Life 360.
Didn't one time they hand out baby food?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did.
they
Yeah.
did. It was yeah, and it wasn't bad.
It was
I
actually
ate
pretty
it.
good, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I refused to eat it. It didn't look good. It didn't look
yeah,
appetizing
it
in
was
the
the
slightest.
squirt kind. It was kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
yeah.
Like applesauce.
I
or
like
not.
the pull apart garlic knots. I thought those were good.
Oh
and then
no, the garlic
the
knots.
Uncrustables,
Yeah.
and then the chickpeas. I used to eat those at Bridges when I used to have Bridges 1 hour a day, and I'd go over there and I'd always eat something because Coach Harris would save. If they didn't eat them, he would save and put them in the fridge. So there would always be an abundance of snacks over there.
I tried to eat the garlic knots, and I would almost vomit. It was so, it was so bad. Like it smelled so good, and then you take a bite, and it's immediate reaction.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you can see that it was a strong garlicky taste. But
I want to try and get Mr. Holmes to chemically make food. I'm sure he could.
yeah, you mean like make water or something?
Yeah, just something like pure raw water.
Yeah.
Like that would be interesting to watch.
Yeah, there's a show called Breaking Bad where a teacher sells drugs to pay for his cancer, and they're like these advanced physicists, and one thing they do is make the purest coffee purest coffee possible, and it's supposed to be so good, even using Folgers, because they purified everything so much with all their tubes and equipment. Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Holmes could probably make a mean cup of coffee.
I think I'll ask him about that. I have him the hour after this, so I'll see if he can make a pure coffee. It would probably be like a Colombian coffee, that potent stuff.
Yeah. Yep. No cream, no sugar.
You don't got nothing to say?
No,
Why not?
I'm just listening.
He's friendly. He don't bite, I don't think.
Oh,
I haven't been close enough to find out.
No.
And I don't want to be.
That's good.
what made you want to go into teaching?
At first, I went into health professions at University of Missouri Columbia, and it just wasn't for me. So my grandpa always wanted me to go into engineering. So while still at Mizzou, I transferred into computer engineering, and I was in that about a year, and I knew it wasn't for me. I couldn't see myself sitting in a room typing on a keyboard. So the only thing in my life that I had ever really enjoyed was sports. So I wanted to be a coach, and then I knew that to be a coach I had to go into education. So I transferred from Mizzou to Missouri State and started my pursuit of a bachelor's in education. And then I got certification in K through 12 PE, 5 through 9 math, and K through 12 health. So I have 3 certifications.
Overqualified.
Yeah, no.
Just to teach PE.
Well, when I started 25 years ago, it was really hard to get a PE job. That's why I had to get alternate certifications. That's why my first 6 years I taught math, because the jobs weren't there. And now, I mean, there's probably jobs open right now that for PE that somebody could go get. That's how different it used to be. Teachers used to have to fight, to try to get a good job, and now there's jobs open like literally right now because people are leaving the profession.
Because, well, I mean, who wants to get paid little to
Yeah.
deal with teenagers.
Right. I'd say my experience in 23 years, the hardest was in class with middle school age kids. That was the hardest discipline that I had. I enjoyed doing elementary. You could keep them busy. Just get a tennis ball out and throw it, and they'd chase it around. But yeah, there's definitely differences in the different ages of. I've taught elementary, I've taught middle school, and I've taught high school. So, if you do end up going into education, which I don't know what you guys plan to do, but it's not as bad as everybody plays it out to be. It's stressful at first for sure, but any job, I can't see myself doing anything else. And I've thought about it, but I get paid pretty good here, and I like it here. I built a house. There's a lot of good people here, so here is as good a place to stay and live my life out as anywhere else.
I hope that you don't have such a big class like ours again, because I know that for a lot of teachers, the big classes were just so much to handle.
Yeah, that was your class, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge class. There's what was there, about 90 or what?
I think so.
And maybe into the hundreds even. Yeah, we had 3 teachers for that class. Me, who else? Coach Moncrief and Coach Phillips.
I remember I had Ross the first
Oh,
year.
Ross, that's right.
I had Ross.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. No, I have a big group this year just because they needed to we had our classes split for 7th grade, and then all the kids that were in the other class that were in choir needed to come into my class. So it added like 10 kids. So but I don't have them every day. So I have like a class of 35 in the junior high gym, which is really small, and it's so loud in there. It's hard to deal with the noise sometimes. It's like the worst part of the year for me is like the last 2 weeks of school when the gym's taken up. Oh yeah, the big yeah, it can be stressful in there. And the end of the year stuff, it gets crazy because people just send their kids to the gym because everybody's done with their EOC testing or their MAP or whatever they're for the year. So it can get really stressful. I'm going to ask you guys some questions.
Oh, wonderful.
How do you think the elections next week? Are you guys invested at all? Are you 18?
I am 18.
Are you registered to vote?
I am not going to vote this year because it is too difficult for me to decide.
Even on local issues?
On local issues.
The amendments?
Yeah.
You can just leave whatever you want blank. There's Amendment 2, which is on sports gambling.
Amendment 2.
Amendment 3 is the abortion. Amendment 6 is the sheriff retirement. And then I'm not sure what else is on there. There's always surprise stuff.
I've seen Amendment 2, and I've seen both commercials, both
I don't want to talk about Amendment 3.
Advising for it and advising against it.
I'm not going to answer any questions. Either way.
But if Amendment 2...
If Amendment 2 passes, I'm going to bet on the Chiefs.
Yeah. Like, if Amendment 2 does actually provide as advertised, then, yeah, I would support it.
It sounds good, but maybe too good.
Yeah, it sounds...
But here's my thing. I don't care where the money goes. I want to bet on the Chiefs. So I'm going to vote.
Whether schools get it or not, I want to gamble.
Yeah. It's going to go to somebody. Not me, but somebody. And it'll be big, which, yeah, because... our state's missing out on money that they could be taxing to, truth. Because we can drive across the border to Illinois and gamble. It just depends on your location on your phone.
Yeah, essentially gambling is just charity.
Giving
money to corporations.
Overtones. Some denominations are against any kind of gambling. So we're getting into morality and different things like that also when you're talking about gambling. I had a friend who, lifelong good Christian man, I got him to go to the casino for the first time, and on the way home we had a bad wreck. It was during a storm outside of Joplin, and he said, that's God telling me to not go to another casino. I'm like, really? I thought we had a good time. He's like, we did. But this is how I'm interpreting this.
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention. Yeah, we had a tree fall in our path, and we hit it, and it blew out my front tires of my Tahoe at the time. So yeah, so he's passed since, but he would have voted no on it just because of his religious beliefs. So I wonder how much that will play.
I'm sure a lot of folks will vote like that just
Yeah,
because
you
of
think so?
the area.
It's pretty conservative for sure. Which isn't always bad. You know, there's a lot of good people here.
Oh yeah, I mean it's if people vote no, it's obviously for not just religious reasons, but
Yeah.
people actually don't want gambling to influence school systems.
Do you think that schools need more money?
Yeah. You know, we've tried to pass a bond issue a couple times now, and it's failed. I think 3 now, or 2 for sure. 3, yeah. I think one was a tax levy and a couple bonds. Yeah, the funding keeps getting cut from the top, and it's hard to keep up, especially as a rural school, being so close to bigger schools like Rolla and Waynesville, who can pay more, and it's hard to stay open. You know, I wonder about schools like Summersville and Raymondville. I don't know how they keep their doors open. A lot of my schools back home, I'm from Hickory County, they're probably all gonna have to consolidate to stay open, to give their students, access to the kind of classes that they need, because you can't get a foreign language teacher to go live. How many do we even have foreign language?
We have it for launch classes.
Okay, so we when I first started here, we had a foreign language teacher, and then Miss Solons taught Spanish for a while. Faith Solons, do you guys remember that?
I
No.
don't remember that.
Yeah, it's hard to get, why, like, we want our kids to come up equal, but kids in Rolla can take Spanish, French, and German, and whatever, and have access to upper level physics classes, and they're so much closer to RTI. We just want things to be fair. We don't want people to have a head start over our kids in the game of life, I guess. So hopefully we pass a bond or something like that happens. But I think on Amendment 2 that the money is going to go to like there was some type of catch. I haven't really looked into it.
I'm not sure if the commercial that said it was real, but when it was talking about Amendment 2, it showed like the documents going through it, and it said that 0% would go to the schools.
Yeah.
Which seems odd to me, because that's what they were advertising, but it wouldn't be the first time deceptive advertising was used. So,
That's right.
and even if that does get passed, I could only see like maybe max 5% going to schools. 5% of the whole lot.
The 100 million.
Yeah.
Talking 5 million. I'd still take it.
Well, yeah.
But it doesn't cut up into much. But yeah, I hope it works out. Whatever's best for the state, I hope that's what happens. And something bring us together. Betting on the Chiefs can bring us together as a community. Let's do it.
So kind of bring it back around like school stuff. You're talking about how sports like affected you, like impacted your life or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you do any like in high school? And
Yeah, I played baseball and basketball. That's the only 2 sports my school had. We were really small. And then I also bowled. I grew up right next to a bowling alley in Nemo, Missouri. So
Were you any good?
I was okay. I bowled a 264 was my high. I bowled that when I was like 14. I couldn't bowl that now. But I enjoy bowling, and they also have really good pizza, so it was fun to go bowling, and pizza is back home. That's something I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Glow bowling. Yeah, we had in the ice storm of like 06 or 07, when was that? When was that ice storm? 07, 08? Remember that? I lived in Springfield, so '06 maybe. Anyways, our bowling alley didn't lose power. Everybody in the state has no power. Our bowling alley didn't lose power. We go in there early in the mornings and we give the guy $10 and we glow bowled all day long like it was like a Saturday night with the jukebox blasting Billy Ray Cyrus and everything else. So and they also had the Silver Strike, like the golf game, Golden Tee. Yeah, so we would go up there and play, just bowl nonstop all day long, eat pizza and hang out.
Our school should do a bowling team.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like a club sport right now. But the only problem would be finding time to practice because we'd have to drive all the way to Salem or Rolla. Houston had a bowling alley when I first moved here, but it was like a smoke shack, and then Salem. Salem's pretty cool. I went there on a field trip last year, I believe, or maybe 2 years ago, but it was pretty cool. But yeah, bowling, I agree, should be a sport. It's one of the only sports you can eat nachos during and still get better.
Have you ever bowled a 300 game?
No, I almost did. I bowled 264. Yeah, 264. And I threw a straight ball, so it's pretty rare for me to bowl that high. My average was around 180. So, but I bowled a lot, and then it got a little too expensive. So, yeah, we travel all around the state bowling in different competitions. I forgot all about that. I had these shirts, just plain white T-shirts with like ringers around the collar, and I would have all these patches sewn on. 180 average, 260, league high average, you know what I'm saying? Because our team name was the Strike Force, and we thought that was really cool. And we named it after a WWF tag team wrestling, the Strike Force. So
Proud bowler, and you've never told anyone about this.
yeah,
I don't remember you ever talking about bowling.
It's bringing back a bunch of memories right now. Like my friends used to call me Roy Munson, as a character off a movie called Kingpin, where he's a bowler and he loses his hand. He like hustles people. It's a comedy. You should watch it. It's called Kingpin. Well, at the beginning, when he walks into a small town, he can just walk by people and steal their hot dogs and eat them. And he bowls, and then he goes down into the splits and starts dancing. But they used to call me Roy Munson at the bowling alley. I was always on the jukebox. Back then, it was only $0.25 a play. So instead of $1 a play like it is now. But I'd put like a 5 in the jukebox, and all my songs would play all night. Nemo Lanes, you should be one of our sponsors. Nemo Lanes, Nemo, Missouri.
I wonder if you'll be able to reach out to them. Get them on the podcast.
Great pizza.
Nemo Lanes.
Nemo spelled backwards.
Omen.
That's right. My grandpa used to tell people that all the time.
It's a good omen.
It's on Lake Palm Butte, which is a man-made lake. They made the lake in the 60s. And my grandpa was living in Kansas City, and he bought up a bunch of land around where the lake would be before it was built. And then once the lake was built, he turned them into like campground, or not really campgrounds, but like second home. Back in the day, when I was a kid, people from the city, what we called Kansas City, St. Louis, they would come down and stay the weekend in their second home or whatever. So I grew up in a subdivision of like 1 or 2 families, and then everybody else was only there on the weekends. So yeah, like during the summer we would go play on their decks and stuff, and yeah, so we had a lot of free range. We were always outside messing. Now we would probably be arrested immediately because somebody would have a camera on their house and see us doing backflips off their deck. So it was a good place to grow up, though.
Growing up around here hasn't been too bad. It's a nice, dinky little place. There's just not really a whole lot to do. I mean, I wish we had more places to go. I mean, if the only places you got are like the pawn shops, antique
You mean
stores.
for entertainment?
That's what I do for entertainment when I'm bored.
The only thing I miss is Oleg's. I
Yes.
wish we had. Wish Oleg's was back, and I like the Mexican place here. And the food trucks are good. Hood's is good, but I really liked Oleg's, and I like their salad bar. And I wish we could get another restaurant in somewhere. Give us a little variety. Casey's Pizza's good, and so is Rennie's. Everything we have is good, but except for when Sonic's ice cream machines are broken. I don't like that.
It's just like McDonald's
Yep.
all the time.
I don't. And sometimes I don't believe them. I'm like, is it really broken, or you just don't want to have to clean it?
My brother used to just walk in the kitchen.
Right.
He would always just walk into the kitchen and be like, "I'll make my food myself. I will pay for it. See you guys later."
He worked there though.
Yeah, but he would continue doing that after he wasn't working there anymore.
Oh wow.
Like one time he drove me to Sonic because I wanted like chili cheese fries or something,
Yeah.
and he drug me in the front door into the kitchen, and I'm just standing there, don't know where to be, trying to stay out of people's way, and people would be knocking on the window trying to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't work here.
Yeah.
From inside the window, I don't work here. I don't know what you want from me. It would be weird just watching him walk in. It's like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to wait your turn.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of advice do you have for kids going off to college or whatever?
If we're getting out of high school,
Yeah.
I would tell them to go a little bit of ways away to where they can't come home like every night, and just experience life outside of Licking and see what it's like. Like, you can always come back. You can always come back on the weekends, but I wish that I would have went somewhere farther away just to get out of Licking for a little bit, get your schooling, get some type of training, and don't be afraid to do like blue collar type stuff, like Lynn Tech or learning a trade. I wish I was straight college prep. Everything I did was about going to college. I don't know how to do anything around the house now. I can't change my own oil because I just wasn't the path that I took through high school. And I wish that I would have got some exposure to things like that. Auto mechanics, carpentry, different things like that. But yeah, get some exposure to life outside of Licking, and then come back and build your life.
Very good. This has been the Podcats podcast with our guest, Steven Rissler. And our co-host, Sadie Hutsell. Thank you for watching.
Good day.